Good morning to everybody, and thank you for coming to the presentation of the results of I would say, a continuous collaboration between the Department of Informatics of our university and the spin-off of Connexun that is going further in finding new methods based on ICT that are very much impacting, I would say, on citizens, generally speaking, on single persons, right? So we were very impressed by the results that were reached during this collaboration, and the timing, because it was very fast, and sometimes we are surprised when things go fast as this one. And I think it's a very good time today to show what are these results most precisely, and to make them known by the community. And also I wish to thank the Console Generale, Manish Pravat, to be here today, because this collaboration is not only between these two institutions, but also between our university and India, and probably also one of the first applications will impact this tourism also, and this going back and forward between Italy and India as well. And so it's very important your presence here today, also to see at the end the effect of this product in the near future. So I think it's a good time to give the word to the people that are more involved here, and thank you again for coming.
Good morning to all of you. Good morning, friends. Thank you, Rector Mesa, for encouraging us and being present on this occasion, which is a very important occasion. I'm very happy to be here on behalf of the Consulate General of India in Milan to be able to be participating in this function and to greet you. I thank you first of all for this opportunity to be present in Bicocca, which is this is my first visit to the university, so as to say, a bit delayed, but I'm very happy to be here, and I hope that the long cooperation which exists between this prestigious university and India will continue to prosper in the future, and we will all be part of it. So it would be important to do all our best to increase that cooperation. I also am very happy that this event marks a continuation of what happened before in the form of the Indit 360, of which I think all of us present here in this room are aware. If that was the first avatar, then we can say that it has led to the next avatar, which is Connection or Connexun. I don't know how to say that, but that's a very catchy phrase which you have selected for this this thing which really connects. And on this occasion, I congratulate all the team members who have worked on this project, the different people who have brought their expertise to the project, and how we all hope that this project would lead to greater connections indeed between India and Italy, and not only between India and Italy, between people as such who will be interested in a variety of topics, variety of themes, how those themes would be relevant to their lives, or how we can make themes relevant to people, and so that they appreciate the presence of such an information meeting point, so as to say. On this, of course, the project has come this far. I also congratulate Mr. Nikhil Agarwal for this Sky, who have all worked on this idea, and from the seed of this idea to fruition of something is a big event, and we have progressed that long way, which is a matter of great happiness. I'm very happy to see that many of the friends present here have all been working in the field of India-Italy relations. As it is my task, my duty as Consul General to of course work on those relations between our two great countries. But this, of course, this is not a one-way street, and also it does not happen because of the contribution of only one person or one organization. Everybody of us contributes to it. And here, I would like to just ponder and say that there are, even talking of our bilateral relations between India and Italy, which of which Indet 360 was the original idea. That if we are doing this in Bicocca in Italy, and there is the Indian connection Nikhil has thought of, then what to do to generate this information, which is interesting for all, which is relevant for all, to do it in Indet 360. Then that project has prospered, developed, and today we are coming to Connexun. A lot of work has been done. You would be surprised to know that even as Consul General, where the consulate is the key point, one of the key points between relations between the two countries, even we are not aware of everything which is happening between India and Italy. So many things happen on their own because of the connection between people to people, that you would discover it later and you would say, wow, okay, even this was happening and we didn't know about this thing. Exactly for this kind of thing, I think this platform would serve a great purpose, that what all we want to know and what we don't know will probably come up from this platform, and we would say that, yeah, we have discovered through Connexun that there is something, this is it, this exists, a point of interest, or you call it whatever. I would say that between India and Italy, the relations are prospering in each field. They are expanding day by day. If you take trade, economic relations, culture, education, science and technology, you name it, and you would find something new there. This is helped by the fact that people from both countries, entrepreneurs from both countries, business from both countries have worked together to actually establish a lot of connections. And here, when we are talking of connection, whether this aggregation will come from all these point of interests, and whether that would come and generate a flick on a single screen, which can be available to us. In what ways and how we can do it is a moot point on which all of us have to think. And in fact, I would welcome that all of us who are present here, those who are already active in this field, would give their own ideas, and if they have their ideas, of course, the team would welcome it and how to take it further. Coming from my own experience, I would say that let us take the field of education. There are so many Indian students coming to Italy now. I think last year itself, probably more than 500 new students came to Milan in the last academic year. They are in different university, in Bicocca also. When I went to a presentation which was made by Assol Umbarda, and I was surprised to know from them that a lot of the Italian universities are offering their courses in English. And they would like to get foreign students. These fields are diverse, like agriculture, medicine, engineering, design, of course, technology, etc. And how much of that little information actually percolates to India. If they are targeting foreign students, they also have to target India. And if the Indian students know that the English education is also available in top universities in Milan, in Italy, they would surely think of coming to Italy also. At this time, because of the connection of the English language, probably the vision of Indian students is limited to the Anglo-Saxon world. So we think of UK, USA. If there are visa issues, we also think of Australia, New Zealand, Singapore. But why not Italy? Because we didn't know that there is this possibility which exists. There are a lot of Indian immigrants here. That maybe about more than 150,000 Indians are living in Italy. And as that population expands, many of them are now citizens of Italy. The second generation which is growing up in Italy, as that population expands, as these people grow up in their fields, they would come to a point that where they need education. They are already getting educated in Italy. I mean, the second generation Indians, they are Italians. They would have interest in India, but like Indians, they are not visiting India every year. Probably by the time they are 15, 16 or 18 years of age, they would have visited their grandparents in India probably, or their villages in India twice or thrice. So, their connection with India physically would have been only 3 or 4 times, while in the imagination, that mother country exists. So, for them, how to discover more that what is happening between these two countries, what we can do more. Think of the trade and the economic potential. Each year, there are thousands of Indian exhibitors and entrepreneurs which come to visit many trade fairs which exist in various parts of Italy. In any case, there are established businesses which are prospering, and which get to know each other through these trade fairs. A lot of these people, when they come to Italy, many are even repeat visitors, but they have not really gone beyond to when they are present at a trade fair, they interact with a lot of people, but they really don't know that what happens apart from that in Italy. So their vision and their knowledge is also limited, and each time they discover new things. Of course, for such people, also, such a kind of platform, which greets them on arrival. Suppose somebody is coming to Italy, and you have an app developed that, if you are visiting Italy, try this, Connexun, and then, just open this and see what is happening around you. Of course, not everybody in the world wants to know more and more in what is happening around them, in the fields around them, and not limited to a particular sector in which they are interested. Similar things can be, said about Italians going to India and knowing more about the country, what potentials exist. So we can say that the interests are varied, the applicability of that potential is unlimited, and we all have to think together that what we can do in this field. It's also about taking the country to your doorstep. Like if I'm in India and I'm fascinated by Italy, then it's even without someday being physically present in Italy, I can know a lot of things about what is happening in Italy, what are the new products which are being launched, what are the new Italian initiatives in the world in the field of politics, in economy. And even it boils down to even basic things which are human experiences of culture, food, languages. There can be innovative things like if you are coming to a country, know the basic words which you needed from the first day itself. These are the kinds of things which we are talking about. And then ultimately we all have to think that how to get this idea, which Connexun is, to be sellable on a commercial scale. Because of course, unless it is commercialized and it adds such a value to your everyday existence that you cannot live without it, because it is a very important tool, then you will be ready to at least pay something for it, and that would keep the project going. So that is very important. And I'm thankful to, as Nikhil has briefed me, to many other people who are associated with this project, to take this idea further. And what do we do, to actually make this a very buzzing, very active, a very dynamic idea, which is not static, and every day something new is being added to it. I would only say that on behalf of the consulate, we wish you all the best to take this idea further. And we are always there to support or assist in whatever way you think that we should be for, from the point of view of business, education, even simply, a human connection to this project. We would always be there for you. I thank you again for this opportunity to be here in Bicocca and to be speaking to you. Thank you very much.
Okay, welcome. Thanks to the Dean, to the General Consul for the introduction. My name is Amina Rashid. I'm here because Fabio asked me to share this morning event with you. I'll tell you a bit more about what I do and why I'm here later on, because now we have a short connection with some people from the Economic Development Minister that will tell us something more about a program that is called the Startup Visa that should be help non-European entrepreneurs to choose Italy as their final destinations.
Works?
What?
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
we
we
can.
And we can
Very
see
good. Good morning.
Welcome. The stage is yours for the next 5 minutes.
Thank you very much. Well, I would just like to congratulate you for this great initiative and for this great step that you've taken in the last few months. As most of you know, the last 2 years, the Italian government has made huge steps towards letting Italy become a friendlier place for innovative businesses, for innovative startups. And the one that's presented today is one of them. Over 2,600 startups have been made in the last 1.5 years, and they can benefit from a vast range of measures, including equity crowdfunding, robust incentives for investment in this kind of startups, huge canals of red tape, and so on and so forth. Moreover, in the last 2 months, a new policy has been launched. Its name is Italia Startup Visa, and its main objective is to attract global talents to Italy, intending to set up an innovative startup. My wish and our wish is that many young talents coming from all over the world, including India, Brazil, South Africa, etc., can join us, can join our ecosystem and fuel it with their competencies and with their talents. I would like to take the occasion to announce something. Currently, the Italian Startup Visa mechanism works just for extra-EU citizens that are their own country, but we would like to introduce new measures for those who are already in Italy with a study residence permits, so that they can convert it into startup permits. So the same procedure that is described at the internet website called italiastartupvisa.mist.gov.it will apply also to those who are already in Italy for study reasons and would like to stay here longer to develop innovative startup. So again, thank you very much for letting us congratulate with you for your success. We wish you all the best and wish that you have a nice work here in Italy and that this activity that you are bringing out helps this country become more international, more oriented to what's happening in the rest of the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mattia. Have a nice day. Okay, now we are going deep with each of this morning meeting. I know probably Lynn wants to leave us.
I have a meeting in the other room, but I can be back later.
Oh, we'll wait for you. I really hope you'll be back to us.
Okay, see you later then.
Thank you very much. Okay, so let's go straight to Connexun project. That is project. Well, I personally followed this project since they almost started, because they contacted me a couple of years ago, if I remember well, when you started 1 year ago, and to tell me about this project. And I think they did a good thing, and today we are here to know more about the project. I'm personally very happy that Fabio asked me to be here, I'm actually a journalist, but I also created a platform that's called Startup Business for the startup community ecosystem. There you can find a community itself, and we have also a web magazine with news about the ecosystem, both in Italian and English. And we also act as helping startups to meet potential financial and industrial partners in order to help startups to grow faster. Okay, so I invite Nikhil, that is founder of Connexun. What is it?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I think everybody can hear my voice. The rector.
In fact, I think my mic is not working.
Not working also. Yeah.
Okay.
Nikhil, it's better
For the
if you-
recording, it's
yes,
recorded.
for the recording is better.
So, I would like to thank the rector who's not present now, but for allowing us to use this Sala again. We were here with Professor Stella 1.5 years ago, launching India 360, the news platform. And I also thank Consul General Manish Prabhat also, because he made my job easy to explain what is connection. So I should not be repetitive and I should not say things what has been said. He stole my words, but he has all the right to do it. And just few things. Connection or India 360 has been always dear to us because of many reasons. And it is, it's in English, you say the mother of invention is because of either curiosity, either frustration, or either need. For us, all of them in different orders was the need of it, because me and Payal have been living here for a long time and we were, I would say, limited by the information we had. So we started India 360, and what triggered was serendipity. The invention was because of the needs, and serendipity triggered us. And one of the fundamental variables for connection is the origins, why origin matters, and why geolocation matters. I have here Jim Noble, who will be always Scottish origin. Barack Obama is always African American. Gucci is always Italian. My son Utyan, who is born in San Rafael, will be always Indian origin. So what we cannot deny our origins. So that made us say that this is our fulcrum, and how we move around geolocation will tell us the people around us, the points of interest around us, and the news that matters. So this is what connection is. So it's a startup innovativa. You heard Matea Corbetta. It's registered as startup innovativa. It's a portal designed to connect foreigners, travelers, diaspora, and cosmopolitans. It's a platform to discover news, points of interest, and build community network. And it is based on origin and interest. If you see, I'm an engineer, not a software engineer, but still understand Venn diagrams in the INSEAD. So if we think that these are country of interest and country of origin, I would say that the intersection, the gray areas, are always the marginal communities, the unserved and underserved. These are, so the aim of connection is to reduce the inefficiencies because of language and because of distances. And while we are in Bicocca, we are building Birbal. Birbal is for brilliant information research, big data algorithm. And Birbal was also the wise advisor to great King Akbar. Everybody understands that. So I gave an acronym to make it more sound more techy. And we are also in Bicocca because of Professor Latini and Matteo Brunari. They are helping us to do impossible things. They are helping us to find needles in the haystacks, and which I will let them explain how they do it. And special thanks again to Professor Stella. It is because of him that we are in the university and with the Department of Informatics. Thank you, and I leave the word to Professor Batini and
Okay, first of all, I say sorry to all of you that are not Italian speaking and understanding, and also English speaking, since I was told to speak in Italian, and so I respect this commitment. And the second point, I say a second sorry, since at the end of this very short talk, I have to leave the meeting since I have another meeting that starts at 11. And quindi il mio ruolo adesso è di cercare di introdurre gli aspetti scientifici della collaborazione con Connexun. Successivamente a me Matteo Palmonari entrerà maggiormente nel dettaglio sugli aspetti tecnici. Io vorrei semplicemente fare un discorso, diciamo, introduttivo al problema, e alla fine del mio intervento vorrei fare una considerazione di natura, diciamo, istituzionale. Forse alcuni di voi conoscono la legge di Moore. La legge di Moore dice che diversi parametri tecnologici, come per esempio la potenza di calcolo dei calcolatori, oppure la capacità di memorizzazione o il costo di un'unità di memorizzazione, ogni anno e mezzo raddoppiano la loro efficienza. Quindi la potenza di calcolo tipicamente dei calcolatori che noi acquistiamo raddoppia in un anno e mezzo. Adesso negli ultimi tempi questa legge, per quanto riguarda la potenza di calcolo, sta andando un po', diciamo, sta esaurendo, diciamo, la sua natura. La stessa cosa avviene per esempio per il costo della memoria. Allora, la legge di Moore, che è citata soprattutto per le infrastrutture tecnologiche, vale anche per i dati, vale anche per il web. Ogni anno e mezzo, esattamente, diciamo, la stessa dimensione temporale, raddoppia la quantità di informazioni che circolano nel web. Questo, come tutti noi sappiamo, dà grandissime opportunità, perché se noi vogliamo per esempio scegliere diciamo, dove viene proiettato un film, un cinema milanese, accediamo a Google e con 2 o 3 keywords riusciamo abbastanza rapidamente a risolvere questo tipo di problemi. Ma crea anche significativi rischi e significativi problemi. Pensate per esempio al fatto di dover cercare sul web le regole per il pagamento della TASI, e questo diventa effettivamente un'interrogazione molto più difficile per sapere dove viene proiettato un certo film. E noi naturalmente, diciamo, abbiamo dovuto partecipare a questa sfida. Un problema fondamentale che viene creato appunto da questo deluge, da questo diluvio di informazione, è il cosiddetto information overload. Noi siamo sovraccaricati di informazione. Questa esperienza noi la facciamo ogni volta che per esempio cerchiamo una certa keyword, Giulio Cesare per esempio, Giulio Caesar, sul web tramite Google, un altro motore di ricerca, e ci sono migliaia, decine di migliaia di siti che riportano, diciamo, questo concetto. E tra l'altro sono state descritte determinate leggi che regolano proprio il valore che noi percepiamo per le nostre decisioni, per la nostra vita dall'informazione, man mano che appunto riceviamo sempre più flussi di informazioni. All'inizio, man mano che otteniamo nuove informazioni per il problema di nostro interesse, il valore dell'informazione cresce, però poi c'è un certo punto oltre il quale veniamo totalmente obnubilati da questa informazione e di conseguenza appunto il valore dell'informazione diminuisce. Il secondo problema fondamentale è quello dell'ambiguità. Se noi cerchiamo sul web la parola legge, L-E-G-G-E, o law in English, siccome in italiano legge sia una norma che è la terza persona del presente del verbo leggere, e siccome sul verbo non ci sono gli accetti, noi non riusciamo a distinguere naturalmente tra le occorrenze. I motori di ricerca hanno difficoltà a distinguere tra le occorrenze della parola legge nel primo significato e nel secondo significato. Per questo ordine di motivi si è creata un'area di ricerca ormai una decina di anni fa, che è chiamata quella del semantic web, in cui sostanzialmente si cerca di attribuire un significato alle informazioni e alla conoscenza che noi riusciamo ad estrarre dal web, e attraverso questo significato, diciamo così, poter arricchire i nostri processi decisionali. In questo ambito di problematiche si colloca quello che noi abbiamo fatto insieme a Matteo Pallonari e ad altri validissimi ricercatori nello scorso anno e mezzo. E nel fare questo abbiamo dovuto cogliere un'altra sfida che Niki Lagravalla ci ha lanciato quando la prima volta è entrata nella mia stanza un anno e mezzo fa, ed è quella del concetto di cultura. Noi sostanzialmente ci ha chiesto appunto di creare un sito che permetta a cittadini di cultura diversa, che appartengono a culture di diverse nazioni, di poter individuare nell'ambito di un territorio di loro interesse quelli che sono appunto i punti di interesse dal punto di vista della loro cultura. Questa è una sfida straordinaria che naturalmente noi abbiamo un po' aggirato, perché il problema della sua è estremamente complesso, quello di cogliere, modellare il concetto di cultura. Abbiamo cercato di aggirarlo in un modo molto pragmatico, nel senso che cultura è ciò che gli esperti di dominio di Connexun ritengono essere la cultura di un paese attraverso l'elencazione di un certo numero di concetti, di un certo numero di toponimi, di un certo numero di luoghi o di tipi di luoghi che per l'appunto sono assunti essere i siti di interesse per queste persone. È una soluzione molto pragmatica che certamente dovrà essere, diciamo, più avanti affinata, perché evidentemente il concetto di cultura è troppo vasto per poter essere colto da un elenco di nomi. Ecco, su questo insieme di sfide noi abbiamo fatto, a mio parere, ricerca di notevole valore. Io mi tengo anche un po' fuori, perché in realtà le problematiche che sono di mio interesse personale sono andate un po' in seconda priorità. Il tema del semantic web, il tema dell'information extraction, il tema dell'information filtering è diventato, diciamo così, fondamentale. Su questo abbiamo proposto delle soluzioni assolutamente originali che si situano nell'ambito della grande attività di ricerca che adesso ricade sotto il nome appunto dei big data. E su tutte queste tecniche entrerà adesso, tra pochissimo tempo, in dettaglio Matteo Pallonari. E adesso volevo fare appunto, per conclusione del mio intervento, questa considerazione che ho chiamato istituzionale. In queste ore, in questi giorni, dipende dal fuso orario, il nostro Presidente del Consiglio sta visitando la Silicon Valley e avrà incontri con diverse decine di imprenditori italiani. Io sono abbastanza anziano ormai per ricordarmi negli anni 70 e 80 Marini, Zappacosta, De Luca sono migrati verso gli Stati Uniti, le persone con cui ho collaborato sono migrati negli Stati Uniti, e per esempio Zappacosta e Marini hanno creato una delle prime aziende che hanno prodotto mouse, un oggetto che ormai fa parte assoluta della nostra quotidianità, ancora più del cucchiaio o della forchetta. Bene, tutte queste persone hanno deciso di migrare negli Stati Uniti e naturalmente in questo modo hanno anche contribuito al prodotto interno lordo degli Stati Uniti, c'è questo piccolo particolare. Allora io penso che questa nostra collaborazione possa essere un'occasione, potrebbe, uso il condizionale, potrebbe essere un'occasione per fare in modo che effettivamente non sia vista da Connexun e non sia vista dagli organi di governo di questo Ateneo come una fornitura, Sarebbe un disastro se fosse vista come una fornitura, perché a questo punto noi avremmo ceduto il nostro know-how, sarebbe un disastro, non per tutti, ma sicuramente, diciamo così, perché a questo punto noi avremmo ceduto il nostro know-how, il nostro ruolo si sarebbe assolutamente esaurito. Io preferirei vederla come una partnership, quindi mi piacerebbe che questo messaggio fosse vincolato al rettore, alla professoressa Messa, fosse vincolato al prorettore alla ricerca e al prorettore al trasferimento tecnologico. Devo dire la verità, non ho tantissima speranza che si vada in questa direzione, però dall'esperienza che abbiamo fatto e dalle potenzialità che ci sono, perché pensate che questo stesso paradigma, fatemi usare questo termine, può essere usato per qualunque coppia di paesi del mondo, per qualunque coppia di comunità, e quindi ha un livello di business, diciamo, le possibilità di business di questa applicazione sono molto vaste, e quindi penso che appunto portare avanti lo sviluppo di questa applicazione potrebbe essere una reale occasione per una partnership che forse potrebbe contribuire anche, sia pure in piccolissima parte, al miglioramento e all'accrescimento del prodotto interno lordo dell'Italia. E adesso do la parola a Matteo Fronte.
Good morning. Originally we thought that we could have the presentation in Italian, even if the slides are in English, but since I see more native English speakers than I expected, I think that it's better to explain the rest of the project in English. So we are explaining here a part of the beer belt technology that has been developed by Connexun in a partnership with University of Bicocca. And this part, we call this part Cupid. Cupid is a semantic engine that is devoted to perform the culture-based discovery and profiling of point of interest. So basically, just to explain immediately in the first slide what we did, and then to give you the details later. Basically, Cupid is a semantic engine. It's a semantic engine that has been developed for the analysis of big data about point of interest. Point of interest is a technical name that refers to places and to any physical entity that it has a georefferentiation, so has a position and can be placed on the map. Our system, Cupid, basically discovers information on the web about point of interest by searching in mapping application, like for example Google Places, but there are several mapping application services. It analyzes the information that it has collected so as to spot the point of interest connected to a given culture, and in order to do this, we combine natural language processing technique and semantic matching techniques. And very importantly, it also manages all the information collected and analyzed, so has to present the result of the system to its users, that in this case are the experts of Connexun team, that can browse the interface so as to understand which have been the findings of the system, and then can build their own application. And now I will explain a little bit why we are to do this. So basically, Connexun around, so far we have talked about the Connexun, but Connexun has several sections in the portal. One of these sections is the section about news that has been developed also thanks to the contribution of Professor Stella. A new section of the Connexun portal is called Connexun Around. So Connexun Around is a section of the platform that shows point of interest to the users that are related to a given culture in a foreign country. So for example, the application will show the point of interest for the culture of origin of a group of users. So if we consider the connection between Italia and India, that is the connection where we started from, basically Connexun Around will show point of interest located in Italy that are connected to the Indian culture. So for example, the Taj Mahal restaurant in Rome, and point of interest that are located in India and are connected to the Italian culture. So for example, the Eskimos ice cream shop in Hyderabad. So this is what the application has to show to the user. Here you can see a screenshot of the beta version of Connexun Around that you can test online, and you see that here on the map you will see all the point of interest in Milan that are relevant to the Indian culture. So this is the goal of Connexun Around. Now, what's the problem in developing such an application? So you know, mapping services and other source of information like TripAdvisor or Google Places, these are very big companies that have been developed their database of point of interest in a very long time. Now, what's the problem in trying to create this application? The problem is that creating this database of point of interest in a manual way is just not possible. It's just not possible for the connection Italy and India, but it's even more not possible if we consider that we want to be able to create such databases for many different connections. So for example, Italia and Brazil, and so on and so forth. So, and of course, we couldn't find any list of Connexun point of interest online. So we had to identify those point of interest by ourselves. Now, a very popular approach to the creation of knowledge base has been now the collaborative construction of information. This has also been done for geographic information with volunteer information, geographic information system, where basically you expect the users to contribute to the application. And this was very interesting for Connexun because Connexun has a social network, so you expect that the users will contribute and provide the information about their point of interest. This is correct. However, in this kind of application, you have a problem that is called the cold start problem. So you won't be able to engage the users and to have a users providing volunteering information to the application until you don't build an application that is enough interesting to engage the users. So in Italian it's called il gatto che si morde la coda. I don't know how you can explain this in English. But the point is that you cannot have the users until you have the data to engage the user. And of course you have data quality problems, but this is a second line issue at this moment. So the only the only approach that you can follow to try to create this database to show in the Connexun application is by developing some semi-automatic information creation process by exploiting automatic techniques that go around on the web and find the information that is relevant to Connexun. But even if we consider this approach, then so this was actually the problem that Nikhil asked us to solve, helping to build a database of point of interest for the connection Italia and India. But not only that, create a platform that can support them in creating the database of point of interest for any arbitrary connection between two countries, right? So the problem was challenging enough for us to be very excited to accept, because actually there are no techniques available right now that try to do this kind of analysis on the kind of data that are point of interest. So there are several problems here to solve. For example, the information is not available in, off-the-shelf lists or database that you can just read, analyze, and give an answer. You really have, in this case, to interact with complex web systems, so you have to basically search in this application by interacting with the system, for example, by generating the right queries and aggregating the results. And you are also subjected to several limitations. So, for example, in this case, you only have a limited amount of queries to mapping services. So you cannot do all the queries you want. So you have to make the good queries, because the queries have a cost. And so the better you make the queries, the less you pay for the information you're asking for. And then, of course, and another problem is the quantity, the impurity, and the diversity of data to consider. So here we really have a problem that can be defined as finding the needle in a haystack. Because, for example, in this image, here you find, sorry, I think that, okay, I went again. So here, for example, you see a lot of point of interest that you can find on Google on a portion of a map. But I'm sorry for the quality of the image. It looked much better on my computer than here. And here you can see the very small amount of point of interest that Connexun has found in the city. So basically, in Milan, you have more than 5,500 Google places for food, while in Milan, we didn't finish to find all the point of interest, but now we have only 50 point of interest. So it's basically 2 or magnitude smaller. So the point is that you really have a lot of information, and you're finding very specific information, which makes the problem quite complicated. And then, of course, the other problem is that here we are not finding only a specific category of point of interest, like restaurants or bars. We are finding point of interest of many different categories. So the same system has to consider education places, business and services, government institution like the consulate, for example, of India in Milan, and cultural and art center, market and restaurant. And in order to do this, you need to have quite a deep understanding of the information you are dealing with. Because, of course, names, descriptions, and overall the terminologies used to describe the relevant point of interest are really heterogeneous. So, for example, in this case, here you see Ayurvedic point is a Connexun point of interest, but clearly Ayurvedic point does not contain any explicit reference to India in its name. So you have to dig a little bit deeper to understand that Ayurvedic point is a point of interest that you want to show to the users in the Connexun platform. And of course, so the off-the-shelf keyword-based search methods won't help you too much here in this case. So let's come very, very quickly and without technical details to the description of Cupid and how does it work. So basically, Cupid discovers point of interest located in the areas of cities in a given country by querying a mapping services. It formulates a lot of queries and keeps on querying for those information to those mapping services. Then for every point of interest that we discover, we collect useful information when available online. So for example, its names, the website, and also the reviews. After we collected this information, basically Qubit defines a profile of the culture of origin of the place of interest, of the point of interest. And it does this by computing scores that represent how relevant the point of interest is for the given country. So for example, for the Indian culture. And then, that's very important, this problem is quite complicated. I mean, it's not a problem that has been known for a long time. So we are not able at the moment to classify in a completely automatic way all this information. Again, for the needle in a haystack problem. So what we build is a full data management platform and dashboard that helps the Connexun experts to browse all the results of our analysis. So basically, the users of the platform can rank the set of point of interest that have been analyzed by the scores that we computed, and in this way they don't have to look at the 1 million point of interest. They only have to look to a very small subset, and then they can of course classify automatically some point of interest on which the system is very confident, but they can also explore some gray areas and some difficult cases so as to get the more interesting point of interest. So basically this is the research part we are more interested in, because we are fond of semantic analysis technique. But in order to do this system, we also have to provide some answers to the three famous V of big data, which are volume, velocity, and variety. And in order to do this, we build a system that basically is built on parallel processing and workflows. So for example, it's not correct to say that we collect the information and we perform the analysis, because we do something more complex. So we go to get information. When some information is available, we send the point of interest to another pipeline that computes the analysis, that find the website, and then we compute the analysis. So this is a typical workflow of information processing in big data application. And we have optimization to deal with the limitation of source access and computational resources. So for example, you have to find a trade-off between the completeness of all the point of interest you want to have and the computational resources that you have. And we deployed all the system in a cloud infrastructure, so it can scale up very easily. And we also had to consider some of those problems that you don't usually consider in research and prototype, like disaster recovery. So you can stop the system at any time and start again without doing the whole computation again. Because of course, when you process 1 million point of interest, you don't want to start again from scratch if the system has some problem. So basically, how we do the profiling in Qubit, we combine three different techniques. One technique is based on what is called explicit semantic analysis, and is the fanciest technique that we use in this project. Basically, the idea of explicit semantic analysis is to enrich the description, the representation of point of interest using knowledge from Wikipedia. And so, for example, if you have the name of the Ayurvedic point, well, it's not really like this, it's a little bit more complicated, but the idea is that by looking in Wikipedia, you find that Ayurvedic is connected to Ayurveda, Hinduismo, India, Medicina Tradizionale, or Omeopatia. And so, when you found that and you let the experts of Connexun define some prototypical Indian point, like in this case, again, here it's not very clear on the screen. This point of interest is Shakti Centro Studi Yoga. So what we do is apply explicit semantic analysis, enrich the description of this point of interest, and we found that also this point can be represented with Yoga, Shakti, Hinduismo, Upanishad, Veda, and therefore we are able to match those points of interest. So basically this is the technique that we developed to get more serendipity, to find the most difficult point of interest to find, and to develop more sophisticated profiling technique. But of course, this was not a purely research project. If we did just pure research, we could stop here, publish the result, and we had been fine. In this case, we also had to make a reliable system. So we need to combine this technique that was oriented to serendipity with a technique that is much more reliable and can find the easiest match to find. So in this case, we use the very basic keywords, like just the names of the countries we consider. And so, for example, we are able to get the very simple match, Ristorante Indiano, just India. And then we also developed a third matching methods that is based on negatively relevant keywords in point of interest. This is because Nikhil was very strict on what he considered a point of interest that had to be on the platform. And in particular, since origin really matters, it was important not to include point of interest that are relevant to the given country, but are also relevant to many other countries. So for example, in India, there are a lot of Italian, Mexican, Chinese restaurants that do all together. And this point of interest had not to be part of the Connexun platform. So we also had to filter out this. So I've almost finished. Some very quick data about the project. The project so far processed all like the 200 largest sites, cities in Italy and India. So we collected more than 1,500,000 points of interest, and we analyzed all these points of interest. And the idea of the system is that with the profiling that we build, again, the user don't have, because they cannot just look at all those results. So basically, the idea is that the using filters based on our scores, they can just look at the small part that are interested. So for example, if you consider only point of interest that have a score computed with explicit semantic analysis higher than 0, then you only have to look at 45,000 points of interest. But if you consider point of interest that match both the explicit semantic analysis and the keyword-based matching, then you have to look at 7,000 point of interest. Of course, they won't look at 7,000. We have better ways to show them only the most important of them. But this is the idea. So for example, if we consider only point of interest with a significant score computed with explicit semantic analysis, we already went down to 972 points of interest, which is the 0.04% of the all data you have to explore. So this is really gives an idea. Yes, sorry, this is it's a 006. And now, at the moment, in Connexun, we have 651 points of interest. The analysis has not been finished, but this is a very, very small part of the whole data set to explore. We also adopted our scientific approach to the realization of this project. So, for example, in the data management area, also in computer science now, there is a lot of focus on experimental methods so that you can test how good your algorithm is, or at least having an idea. And on a sample of 1,000 points of interest, we discovered that the system is pretty much accurate on the top 50 recommendations. So in the list of top of the best 50 places and 200 places. So the idea is that the system is able to find, of course, cannot be 100% precise, because here you have a trade-off. The more insightful the analysis is, the more you have to be ready to also have wrong matches. But the point is that the quality, it's, how to say, it's good enough to let them work with these results. And the results of the project lasted 1 year, exactly 1 year, approximately with 5 person month of senior researcher and 10 person month of junior researcher. And we developed 4 macro models. And here you see the point of interest in the dashboard that you can see from India and Italy. So I close with the presentation of the team. I worked on this project with Professor Battini, but we really had a very, very good contribution from our collaborators. Marco Cremaschi is now research assistant with us. Lucio Narducci, who is now postdoc at University of Bari, and Vincenzo Ferme, that really did a good job and was the only full-time employee on this project for several months, and really did a good job, and unfortunately preferred Switzerland to Italy at this moment, and you can guess why. And then we also thank Christian Berzi, that was a student that was very happy to join us in this project. So thank you. Sorry for being here. So.
Thank you for this overview, and I don't know if there are any questions for Matteo at the moment. We are able to collect 1 or 2, just in case. If not, of course, Matteo, instead of chatting with the consul, is staying with us for the rest of the morning.
I will be at the coffee break.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Matteo. Thank you. Very, very interesting, very clever presentation. I like it very much. Now I call Carlo Patrini from IBM Italy and Razado from Data to join me to the table, so we can keep going to explore more point of views regarding what you think about this project and big data in general. Very clever. Okay, let's start with Mr. Carlo Patrini. He is IT architect and business intelligence of small medium enterprise, IBM Italy. Okay, you must have a very long business career.
Ciao, buongiorno. Ciao. My name is Carlo. I've been working for IBM for many years, more than 24. This is my first life. When Fabio invited me, he told me, you have to be very clear, impossible for me. You have to be very fast. This is quite impossible for me. I have to switch from English to Italian. I'm able to stay silent in 15 languages. Also in Swahili. Okay? But if to talk fast, I have to listen Italian. Sorry. Can you?
Ho sbagliato così. Ho fatto lo switch.
Questo minuto non conta. No, c'è una cosa alla quale che è il vero trigger a cui tutti facciamo riferimento, che è veramente il punto di partenza per una cosa che andavo a dire quando ero piccolo, quando ero 30 anni fa, no? Andavo a dire ai clienti 30 anni fa. E la cosa che era vera allora, no? Ed è vera fortunatamente ancora oggi, per me che faccio progetti, per me che vendo, no? È la conoscenza, no? La voglia di sapere, no? Ogni compagnia ha bisogno di conoscere, ogni reparto, ogni persona ha bisogno di sapere. Non possiamo dormire, no? È proibito dormire. Se io cerco di dormire il mio capo mi sveglia, okay? È impossibile dormire. Quindi il trigger vero è la conoscenza. E uno dice, cavoli, la conoscenza, the insights, the knowledge, da dove arriva la conoscenza? Arriva dai dati. E quindi ecco qui, io tanti anni fa quando ho cominciato ho parlato, prima c'era l'Info Center, poi c'era il Data Warehousing, poi la BI, poi la Business Analytics, tutte sfumature della stessa cosa, cambia le modalità, ma il trigger è sempre questo, la conoscenza. E chiaramente il principale propellente, la principale materia per distillare, la parola distillare mi piace un casino, la dirò 10 volte. Per distillare conoscenza sono i dati. Devo partire dai dati. Grazie. E quindi questo, tutti noi abbiamo bisogno di conoscenza, andiamo avanti, e quando uno dice devo aumentare la mia conoscenza, ecco che a un certo punto, quando uno ha fatto un sistema potente, elegante in azienda, ormai tutti i dati tradizionali li ha analizzati, ecco che da qualche anno a questa parte si dice apri la tua finestra dei nuovi dati, un nuovo tipo di dati, ai dati non tradizionali, che hai in casa, li hai prima in casa, perché ci sono i log, ci sono i call center, ci sono i risultati delle tante cose che hai in casa che non guardi con la giusta attenzione, perché questi dati sono unstructured, non sono disegnati bene, non sono governati bene. Però se tu con la lente giusta vai a distillare da questi qua, puoi derivare conoscenza. Ripeto, prima interni e poi vai fuori sui social, quant'altro. Sicuramente sì. E quindi sicuramente uno delle due leve, no, su cui agire è, per aumentare questa insight, per aumentare questa knowledge, è i dati. Apri i dati a una nuova tipologia di dati. Ecco che il discorso big data viene fuori da qua, no? Brevissimo, la presentazione è stupenda, era troppo brevissimo. E quindi tutto quello che hai detto va benissimo, bravo, molto bene, quindi le 3V, tutto corretto. Però i dati da soli non sarebbero sufficienti se non sono accompagnati dall'altro fattore, dall'analytics. Se io non ho un qualcosa che è in grado di leggere questi dati, interpretare questi dati e distillare, sono arrivato qua, per distillare questa conoscenza qui, non faccio il mio lavoro. I dati non tradizionali sono strutturati, sono destrutturati, contengono del testo, contengono discussioni, contengono degli slang, no? Se io non ho uno strumento di text analytics potente, facile per me che devo programmare, che è in grado di razionalizzare queste, non vado bene. Quindi ecco che il discorso è sempre accompagnato. Infatti il DM dice una cosa forte, questa è una slide marchettara, però mi piace, e qua dice, questa qui è la visione che il DM ha, la visione che il DM della nuova piattaforma, no? La nuova piattaforma si innesta su una precedente in cui sono state inserite alcune cose. Non c'è più soltanto i dati e il data warehouse, ma abbiamo aggiunto 2 scatole nuove. Le 2 scatole nuove forse sono colorate in rosso col prossimo slide, ecco, ce l'ha fatta. Quindi la prima scatola in alto è la real time analytics. I dati mi passano sotto il naso, i dati in continuo fluiscono davanti a me per poi essere depositati da un'altra parte, per poi essere analizzati. Mentre mi passano sotto il naso, se sono bravo, riesco a distillare conoscenza in quel mentre. E quindi sfrutto una caratteristica molto mai sfruttata bene da chi analizza i dati, che è la freschezza dei dati. Se io sono in grado di sfruttare la freschezza, posso fare più cose. E come si chiamano, le smart city, le soluzioni che viene fatto in Stoccolma, Dublino e quant'altro, sono un esempio di questo. No? Sfruttare la freschezza dei dati, poi lo depositi e poi quando hai tempo li vai ad analizzare a riposo, ma sfrutta la freschezza dei dati. L'altra cosa sono un altro repository, big data, il data warehouse non è più sufficiente a contenere dati che sono le famose V del nostro amico, non sono più sufficienti. Devo avere un altro repository in grado di contenere questi dati di diverso tipo, disordinati, i logs, i blogs, i video, tutto sta dentro il nuovo calderone Hadoop, no? Il quale Hadoop come pregio ha di essere parallelo, no? Io ho tantissimi nodi, ogni nodo elabora il proprio parco di dati, poi tutto il risultato viene assemblato in un solo. quindi sono veloce nel fare questo. Ma Hadoop al proprio interno deve avere delle capacità analitiche nuove, altrimenti non ce la fa. Sto emozionando e sto la bocca secca, però non devo sfruttare l'acqua che è gratis. Un altro elemento forte qui, sembra che sia un po' arrogante, però IBM nell'ultimo tempo è uscita con una cosa che è veramente notevole, è veramente una cosa sconvolgente, no? Nel mondo delle analytics. Watson, il question and answer tool. Tu fai una domanda in una lingua naturale, una domanda, non una search, una domanda in lingua naturale, e lui, tra le tante possibili risposte, sceglie in maniera statistica la migliore e ti dà la risposta in 3 secondi. Watson non ha soltanto vinto Jeopardy, che l'ha stravinto Jeopardy, adesso fortunatamente viene applicato nelle banche, fa da consulente alle banche, fa da consulente ai medici, questo un po' preoccupa un pochino, vedete Watson non ha avuto amministrazione, però va bene, è un consulente, non impiazza l'uomo, è una cosa in più, Se ho bisogno di un consulente, mi rivolgo a lui, posso dire che decido, in 3 secondi mi risponde. Quindi la cognitive analytica è sicuramente una sfera, un mondo che andiamo ad iniziare, che è veramente una svolta. Andiamo per favore. E chiaramente dicevo poc'anzi la text analytics, questo è un testo. Se io devo analizzare questo testo non capisco qualcosa, ma se devo analizzarlo in maniera veloce, ho bisogno di un text analytics, guardo il testo perché c'è molto tempo, però. Un text analytics che mi aiuta, un acceleratore che mi aiuta per fare questo. E quindi fai un clic per favore. Ecco quello che estrae il text analytics. Mi estrae da quel testo lì le cose essenziali. Name, title, organization. After that I'm able to make some other quiz. I'm able to understand the contents. But first I need text analytics to make this translation. Questa è la piattaforma IBM. Non voglio vendere qua le soluzioni, però la piattaforma IBM è soltanto per dire che non è soltanto Hadoop. La piattaforma IBM non è soltanto Hadoop, anche Hadoop, ma è la navigation and exploration dei dati. Lascia i dati dove sono, lui va a reperire facendo gli indici. O la Hadoop, che per noi la chiamiamo Big Insight come nostra distribuzione, abbiamo l'analisi del on-fly, l'analisi di streaming, infosys streams, e abbiamo poi sicuramente sotto una cosa che è fondamentale, che non va mai tralasciata, la governance di tutto questo. Io devo governare questo mondo qua. Quanto più i dati aumentano, quanto più i dati faccio in gestione di dati, devo avere il censimento di questo dato. Devo censire, devo capire cosa fai tu, cosa ha fatto lui nel passato. E quando tu hai consumato i dati, poi che cosa ne hai fatto quando non li usi più? Dove stanno? Non posso dire gli alunni stanno in cantina, devo censire questo. Questo, la governance è legata alla qualità, è quello che hai detto bene tu, proprio passa la presentazione, è bene. Vai, andiamo avanti. 5 minuti ce la faccio. Ok, IBM cosa dice? Ma questo big data per fare cosa? Per fare cosa? No? IBM ha clusterizzato i risultati dei propri progetti in 5 filoni. Progetti fortunatamente ne abbiamo fatti un po', in 5 filoni. Queste sono le 5 categorie in cui il big data può essere indirizzato. Qui sotto, non si vede, ma sotto c'è un link, vai avanti uno, ecco, sotto c'è un link che possiamo, per chi vuole poi può vedere questo, non soltanto la categorizzazione, ma anche alcuni esempi che lì sono citati, ma che spaziano da queste 3 o 4 categorie. Io devo recuperare i dati, per esempio il customer 300, ecco, le Lancet da 360 view, vuol dire io ho una grafica clienti, tutti hanno una grafica clienti, le banche, le assicurazioni, tutti hanno una grafica clienti, che vedono il cliente come tale, come cliente. Quello che vogliono fare le banche, le assicurazioni adesso è fare un passo, i quali parlano bene dicono voglio trattare il cliente non più come tale, ma come individuo. Ma per trattare te come individuo, io ho bisogno di sapere tante cose di te che io non so, come banca. Se tu fai sport, se tu sei presidente di qualcosa, se tu vai in chiesa, se tu hai 10 figli, tante cose che attengono alla tua vita. Devo fare in maniera regolare, questo non posso fare il problema. Però se conoscessi queste informazioni qua, la mia efficacia nel proporti delle azioni aumenterebbe. Ecco il 360, soltanto un esempio. Ok, questi sono alcuni esempi pubblici, queste sono alcune referenze chiare, referenze public, che possiamo condividere. Ovviamente adesso non lo facciamo perché non voglio sprecare il vostro tempo. Fai 7 clic? No, quello che sono. Fai su una sola, questa qui mi piace troppo, questa qua, Vestas, una indietro, ecco. Questa qui devo dirla per contratto perché mi piace un casino. Questa qua dice, questi qui sono wine turbine, sono tutti paleoliti, no? Paleoliti. E loro avevano un problema, la Vestas, che è danese e un po' spagnola, danese e poi spagnola. Quando un loro cliente andava da loro e chiedeva voglio fare un impianto, dove loro dicevano aspetta, faccio un po' di queries, faccio un po' di predictive analytics sui dati che io ho in pancia, perché loro erano stati bravi, si erano portati dei dati, molti dati in pancia, erano stati nel raccogliere per ogni metro, per ogni quello che è, A al quadrato delle informazioni, piovosità, umidità, quant'altro, bravi. E poi dovevano, sulla storia del passato, dovevano capire ciò che accadeva dopo, no? E ti dicevano se il tuo investimento fatto nel Portogallo del Sud andava bene oppure no. Questa era la risposta che dovevano dare, predictive analytics. Si mettevano 3 settimane e mezzo per analizzare un peta. Per analizzare un peta di dati, 3 weeks and a half. Okay? Not enough, no? Impossible for them. Okay? Allora si hanno cercato una soluzione basata su Hadoop DBM che si chiama Big Insight, che parallelizza questo lavoro qua. La predictive analytics è stata fatta su un cluster di, non so se 70 o 80 nodi, no? Per cui il parallelismo ha reso la cosa molto veloce. Quello che prima durava 3 settimane e mezzo, ora dura 3 ore e mezza. La cosa buona per i nostri commerciali, perché ci sono anche i commerciali, è che adesso loro hanno bussato il IBM dicendo adesso noi stiamo digerendo 2 peta.6, 2.6 petabyte in 3 hours. Okay? Is it possible to have a deal to enlarge the installation? Because we have other 4 petabytes back on the road, okay? Back on the door. Essi avevano dei dati che non guardavano mai, perché erano timidi, dicevano, okay, 3 ore e mezza con gli altri, questi non li guardo più. No? Adesso possono dei nuovi dati, possono entrare in gioco e fare una predictive analysis più spinta. Grazie. Ok, questo fa vedere quanto IBM investe in questo tema qua. Un mare di soldi, tantissimi soldi, se qualcosa dovesse anche per incrementare il salario sarebbe normale, però va bene così perché questo ci rende orgogliosi per lavorare bene qua. E quindi, questo, poi va avanti, così pure nella Watson, che vi ho detto poc'anzi, sulla quale sta investendo alla grande, sulla quale fortunatamente molte aziende stanno chiedendo delle soluzioni, che era chiaro, per ogni azienda c'è un contesto, no? Uno può essere un consulente medico, ha bisogno di una tua tassonomia, ha bisogno di tuoi dati, un consulente di tipo insurance, e quindi c'è un consulente banking, per ogni indirizzo c'è bisogno di un contesto di dati su cui lavorare. Fortunatamente qui abbiamo molte richieste in tal senso. Bene? Ecco, una cosa alla quale teniamo molto sono questi centri, Innovation Center. Sono centri in cui i clienti, i partner possono venire e trovano delle risorse, trovano hardware, software, trovano persone e soprattutto, qui abbiamo il direttore dell'Innovation Center di Milano, Giuseppe, per favore, okay. E soprattutto trovano una risorsa che è la più pregiata, la più difficile, trovano il tempo. Quando tu vai lì le persone sono disponibili ad ascoltare, a farti fare una prova, a giocare con te. E questa non è una cosa poco. In IBM di questi Innovation Center, grazie, ne abbiamo diversi e ripeto, a Milano il direttore di questa struttura, Giuseppe, che è qui con noi. Ok, ho finito, guarda, almeno uno. Solo un minuto, solo un minuto.
Bravo.
No, devo dire per lei per contratto, devo dire, questa cosa è bellissima. No, ci credo veramente perché sono convinto che questa nostra piattaforma, no? Dove noi siamo anche un po' casati di questa cosa, ma è vera, è robusta, è forte, no? È forte, e sono certo che delle iniziative brillanti, delle iniziative un po' innovative, creative, che ha avuto Connexun e Fabio, ho indovinato bene, saranno delle soluzioni che troveranno terreno fertile nella nostra piattaforma. Complimenti a voi e grazie a tutti.
Allora,
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you for inviting us. Actually, our technical specialist and big data expert, Mr. Bernardo Nicoletti, was supposed to come, but he has to travel for a customer meeting and he couldn't come. So I'm basically going to give some overview about our digital offerings. Actually,
First to introduce Prasad.
first, yeah.
Prasad Nerulkar is heads Tata Consultancy Services for Southern Europe. And he's based in Milan for a long time.
Probably you would have heard about Tata Consultancy Services. Just give a brief introduction about us in a few lines. We are part of Tata Group, which obviously you would be aware. And as we speak, we are the largest Indian company on Indian Stock Exchange with a market capitalization of about 85 billion US dollars. And in terms of IT, we are second largest, just behind IBM in terms of market capitalization. So we are a pretty global company, and we also work in Italy with top Italian customers. Basically, just to talk about digital era, we believe that in future, when somebody will write history about this period, they will not remember this period as a period of recession, unemployment, all those kind of things, or terrorism, etc. But they will remember this period as a period of digital transformation. And if you would have seen over a few years, the entire experience has changed because of this digital transformation. Like few years back, I still remember when I was in India about 20 years back, I used to go to the bank and stand in a line to withdraw money or to deposit money or whatever. And today, I don't know how many months, I have not even seen the bank, but I have carried my several transactions. So and this is going to change in future, like we are already talking about mobile wallet and removal of all these credit cards, etc. Like maybe in few years, we will not have a carrier wallet, everything will be on your mobile phone. So we are actually experiencing a lot of different things. In TCS, we have more than 300,000 young professionals working, and we are already gearing for future generation, the generation which has born after year 2000. And we believe that when we will start recruiting those people in 2022, 2024, we will have to deal not only with humans but probably humanoids, because they will be acquainted with so many gadgets around them that the way you will interact with them will be totally different. And this is something we believe. And in India, we believe that this world has formed with 5 forces like fire, water, space, earth, and air. And in digital transformation, we believe the 5 forces is going to bring this digital transformation. The combination of 5 forces will create the entire new digital experience going forward. And these 5 forces we believe are mobility, social, big data, mobility, social, big data, cloud, and artificial intelligence. So combination of these 5 forces will create a totally new era, and we will start experiencing completely new paradigm shift going ahead. Just to give an example, this example I heard just a few days back. One passenger was sitting in an aeroplane and the plane got delayed. And he was so upset that he had to go for a meeting, and he started tweeting that this airline is very bad and they are not doing well and getting late. And he also started getting response on his tweets. The airline was watching, and they immediately used big data and other analytics tools to find out who is this customer. And they found that he is one of the privileged customers with a very high level of loyalty card, and also he has a lot of followers. So as soon as the flight took off and he landed in his destination, there was one executive standing at the gate, and he offered him apology as well as some free tickets. And suddenly he started tweeting, "Oh, they listen to me, they are such a nice airline," and like immediately within a distance of that journey, they changed the entire perception. And this is what is going to happen. People are going to listen to you, and they are going to do the analytics, and they are going to take immediate action to create the best customer experience. Probably what the step that Nikhil has taken is probably the next step. Means we are acquainted with Facebook, Google, and all those kind of things, but what he is doing is a niche kind of experience, and this experience is going to be useful not only for Indian Italian community, but going ahead for the entire global community. So congratulations to them, and I wish them all the success in this new venture. Thanks a lot.
Thank you to being with us. Very interesting presentation. So I'm sure the support of organizations like yours to new companies like this one is a key aspect for the future of the whole economy in Italy and abroad. Now I call two more speakers. Giacomo Biraghi from Expo is the digital media PR of the forthcoming big event that Milano will host next year. And Alexandra Tresgavo-Pardo of Deloitte Financial Advisory Services. Welcome.
Ciao.
Welcome. Ciao. Giacomo, you start. So tell us about Expo, the opportunities for a startup like Connexun to leverage on those kind of evidence in order to further develop their business.
Yeah. Expo is coming, is in 200 days, more or less. It will be a very successful little event, but it will happen, and it will bring some people here in Milan, like 7 to 8 million foreigner people, most of them from Asia, which is already something very strongly happening in Milan since 2010, but Expo will increase this trend. So we already sold 5,645,000 tickets only in Asia to tour operators. So something will happen here for 6 months. Nothing that will change Milan or Italy, but something that could be useful for a startup like this, because of course those people will stay in this thematic park, which is mostly for family and children, with attraction and like cruises, casinos, and amusement park. They will stay there 5 to 6 hours, okay, visiting Expo in itself, which is 2 kilometers from here, and then they will have to visit Italy, Milan, shopping, eating, moving, and of course all will search for interesting things to do, businesses, hotels, restaurants, and I think that we as Expo organization, we failed, or we chose not to do it ourselves. Maybe we thought 3 to 4 years ago that it will be sort of these cybernetic events with brand new powerful app developed by Expo with all the information within the city, within Italy, but we failed. So there won't be any of these magic, incredible new app or search engine. There will be nothing official outside the perimeter of this thematic park. So sort of, let's say, sad news or news, but it's also an opportunity for whoever would like to set up an entrepreneurial path and developing those sort of engine. How to connect to Expo visitors. In this way, we are very open to develop any kind of partnership, or we set up a new body. One of these is called Expo in Città, which is fully prepared and focused in visiting experience outside the thematic park. It's an autonomous body from the Expo organization. It will have to set up a sort of calendar, a map, daily activities program for visitors from several different countries, and of course engine like this could be helpful to strengthen this willingness to provide useful information to visitors. So I think that Expo in a nutshell, it's a speaking platform. It has no strong coordination. It's very different from Olympics or soccer events where there are a very strong international body and then a very single, powerful local organizer. And then there is matches and someone wins. Here in Expo, there is a sort of chaotic mess with no coordination, sort of condominium, Italian condominium, which is, I can say, the horrible nightmare of every condominium, of every condomino and administrator. But this is a very powerful opportunity because it never happened that you set up an international event in a democratic arena with people, countries, international NGOs, and companies from different continents, different religions, different governmental entities, all in a peaceful environment where it's a sort of strange Olympics where all wins the gold medal. Okay, so in this chaotic thematic park for family and children, with no single body that organizes anything, with no single message, with I think 20 million different expos, because Expo doesn't exist in itself. No, every visitors will build up its own expo, selecting from different autonomous point of view from different nations. In this paradigm and format that we bought and that we are developing, there is really space for everyone who would like to, as I say, take over Expo. So Expo is for you something to. If I were you, I will set up an IPO or an aggressive takeover on Expo. No one could oppose to this action. There is no one to ask for permission because there is no coordination. So set up an application like this, go in the market with your money and say it's an official tool of Expo. Okay, Expo is something that you has to take over because it's a speaking platform. Okay. We, as the condominium administrator, we are as powerful as yours. So, what is the usual attitude of an administrator di condominio in a meeting like this with the condominium? He stays stand and listen and say yes. Okay, so that's exactly our mission. So please make a very aggressive and I hope successful IPO on Expo.
Thank you, Giacomo, for this ability to bring us a new point of view to see a big thing and sometimes also a little mess. Alexander, stage is yours.
Thank you very much. So, I will introduce myself. I'm Alexander Pardo. I work for Deloitte. I'm here together with our President of Financial Advisory, Jim Noble, and persons that have helped us in this project also, Giorgio Luraski. First of all, we have been supporting Connexun now for a time, helping them and supporting them during this process, in particular creating business cases and see what effectively we can do on the market with the product itself and with the service itself. Before entering a little bit more in details, I wanted to talk a little bit of Deloitte and how we, let me say, effectively think about innovation. First of all, innovation, and in particular an innovation like Connexun, needs to have the right environment. The right environment is created by the country itself. As we've seen in the last 2 or 3 years, the Italian government has been very active in creating a better environment to help and support startup companies in Italy. As before it was said, our Prime Minister Matteo Renzi has been speaking to around 115 startup companies in Silicon Valley and San Francisco, in particular talking to Italian companies that are over there. Italian companies that have decided just to invest and to start up their business not in Italy because they don't think that the environment is correct, but that they have started in doing that in America, in the US. Strangely enough, we've got Connexun that is, let me say, inspiration from India that is trying and is developing themselves here in Italy. The nice thing of startups is, and I think what the government now really thinks of, is that the ideas of just a few individuals can have a big impact on a lot of people. And a lot of people meaning a lot of work. Okay, a lot of work can be created thanks to startup companies. So it's not anymore, as we've seen so far, it's not anymore the fact that you have to search for a place to work, but it's creating a place. Being able to count on innovative startup companies guarantees different economic systems. It creates wealth and it creates an economy for a country, and that's very important. So as before it was said, there are more or less 2,700 innovative startup companies registered in Italy in more or less 1.5 years since more or less 2012. Okay. This gives us an idea that it's very important to more and more invest in these kinds of companies, and not to invest but to support them to grow in this economy. If we look at what is innovation, we've seen that, for instance, in Google, since 2007 there is 300 million times people have looked for what is innovation. Okay, so innovation will mean a lot of things. There are a lot of people that write about what is innovation. There's a Harvard Business Review, there is INSEAD, there's a lot of national, international, well-known companies and organizations that have write about it and what it effectively is. At the end, it's fresh ideas that generate value. Okay, it's more or less what we see as what innovation is effectively. We have to be a little bit careful about what innovation, because of course, as we see now, for instance, 2/5 of 2010 US GDP was made out of companies that didn't exist in 1980. Okay, so that's 40% of GDP. Okay, so that more or less means that 30% in the last 30 years, 40% of the GDP has been made through new companies. This more or less gives you an idea how important it is to support these new companies that grow up. If we look at Italy, in the last 30 years, and we look at what innovative companies have done, on the last 150 years, I think it's 0.70% on GDP for Italy. Okay, very, very small amount. Okay, the speed of achievement of innovations, critical mass, is a steadily grow. It takes a little bit of time to get the new users online, and sometimes success in innovations were developed by mistake. Sometimes you just launch a new product thinking of something else, and it can make a big impact also on other things. Okay, that's a little bit of also what's innovation. I mean, does it mean that what you have right now and what Connexun is right now, maybe now that we are putting it online, it could have impact also on other categories that we are not looking at right now. We don't have to forget that, of course, that a quarter of the startups don't survive. I mean, it's very difficult, it's a very hard environment, and it doesn't mean that each idea is effectively successful. We've seen that with companies that we all know very well, Kodak, Blockbuster, and of course BlackBerry, we know that very well, how fast they went up, but also how fast you can go down. Okay? So it's very important that this innovative process is an ongoing process. Okay? So what is it at the end? It's more or less, it's innovation as key drivers has anticipating market trends and creating new ones, developing innovative marketable solutions, and creating open-minded culture of innovation. Okay? We as Deloitte are now launching, and I was talking before with some of the people right here, are launching something that's called the greenhouse. Okay? We will be introducing it now in the near future. I mean, it will be launched next month officially, but it's something that in which we create, in which it's based on innovation. Okay? It's going to be a physical place in which we as Deloitte will put in full-time 10 persons that will work on it, and they will be developing new ideas, innovation, together with companies. It will be a place in which companies and Deloitte can come together and can innovate and create new products and services that can be launched on the market. This is done, of course, in a very large project based on an international level, and we will have also access to all those greenhouses that there are in the US, in the Netherlands, in the UK, and so on, with all these kinds of information that we have and that we can at the end give to the companies that will be there with us in this greenhouse project. And hopefully we can invite you all to this new project that will be launched in the very near future, I mean in the next month. So what is at the end Connexun, and what do we think of what Connexun is? Connexun is a virtual dynamic platform that connects moving people to its origin and its current environment. It's its origin and its current environment where it is right now. People at the end move a lot. Globalization at the end, I think Connexun is a product that comes out of the globalization. Okay. Personally, I'm not Italian. And I've been living in Italy now for 10 years. And when you are outside of effectively what your country of origin is, there is a need of information. I mean, it's not for sure a product that will have an impact on everybody. Okay, it's not a product for all the people, but it's a product for a specific group of people. Okay, a specific group of people that travel a lot, work or not work related. Okay, that live abroad, and also this could be work or not work related. Okay, but that they need information also to have from their original country. Okay, and Connexun, what it does is effectively this: it connects people that are in different countries. It could be the same people that live here. I'm from Spanish origin officially, so it could be that Spanish people that are living here, which can come in Connexun, but it can also be Italians living in Spain that need help or that need support and how to overcome their cultural problems in another country. I mean, personally, maybe I shouldn't be telling this because the president is over here, but it personally takes me more or less half an hour each morning to read all the newspapers that I want to read in all the different countries where I've lived so far. I've lived a little bit in Holland, I lived a little bit in Spain, and now living in Italy. And it just takes a lot of time to go through all the information that's online. Connexun will just provide this. It will be an only point in which you can find so much information that you effectively need. And that's why one of the ideas was that I self got engaged in this product, and I'm really interested in this project itself because effectively I see personally I see the benefits of the product itself. It's very difficult, of course, to launch new products, but I mean, Connexun at the end, what it will help you is it saves time, and that's the half an hour that takes me every morning to go through the different newspapers. It's of course quality. It's very important what we've seen before at the end in the algorithm that's behind Bilba, that's behind at the end Connexun itself. It's the quality information that makes the difference. Okay, there is a lot of information out there, but it's the quality and the completeness information that at the end will decide where people will search this information for. we've been supporting them, as was explained with Deloitte, we've been supporting them in creating different business cases and seeing effectively what the market response could be. And of course, unfortunately, even though it's a very good idea, at the end there is a need of financing for such a project to go on. So we are supporting them, of course, in looking what could be the correct value added that this product can give, also from a financial point of view, from an economic point of view. We really think of it, and I know that we will be working in the near future, we will be working with them together to see what the impact will be on the market. And for sure, Expo will be a very interesting event that will have, I think, a very direct and dynamic impact on the product itself. Thank you very much for your time.
Se ci sono domande su Expo?
Yes, of course, but you stay with us for the cocktail now.
Yeah.
Okay, so people can come to you openly and
harass
for
me.
you.
Yes.
Okay. Harass you. Yeah, well, actually, you're an expert. You must be an expert. Thank you very much. All very interesting. Just before passing the word to the team of Connexun, to Riccardo Corti, Fabio, and Payal, I want to thank you for having me here. I just want to add a couple of things about the importance of creating new companies. The point is that we are living in a very interesting moment, because this is not just an economical crisis, but it's a deep change in paradigms. So creating new companies means having a new culture and approach to the concept of entrepreneurship before that to do new technology on product, as we have an example here. So this means that it's true in this country we have a startup law, but I personally believe that the only real judge of what is an innovative company is the market and not the government. So I think that the law we have so far is actually not very effective, and I still hope that the economy find its own road and keep its ability to be free and to grow up regardless difficulties it can find. The real important thing is innovation. It's a matter of a new approach to the concept of entrepreneurship and not just developing new products or services, even if they are important at the end of the day. Please, team, you have the honor to conclude this morning.
Okay. Funziona? Prego,
Sì.
prego. Ok.
Sì,
Connexun.
Sì, sì.
Homepage.
Però non si vede bene. Aspetta.
Buongiorno a tutti. Oggi abbiamo visto durante la presentazione di Matteo qualche slide che raffigurava degli screenshot del nostro sito Connexun, e quello che vorrei fare io adesso è dare un piccolo tour guidato del nostro sito, quindi vedere le principali funzionalità e anche far vedere come il lavoro che è stato sviluppato con l'Università Bicocca trovi alla fine una pratica applicazione all'interno del nostro sito. Quindi vedremo le varie sezioni di news e around che sono state sviluppate proprio con l'università. Fabio, io partirei dalla landing page, quindi dal... Sì.
Momentanei problemi tecnici.
Problemi tecnici.
Ne approfitterei se anche le altre persone del team, giusto che
Sì.
hanno lavorato tutti, se...
Roberto, Paolo,
Roberto.
volete accomodarvi qua?
Vai, sì. Vai. Paolo e Lu. Vi presento
Let's go. Keep going. While we wait for the slides, we can share.
Sì, dunque, la prima funzionalità che vorrei mostrare è proprio la fase di registrazione, quando un utente per la prima volta arriva sul sito. Per entrare nel sito deve effettuare appunto una registrazione e le informazioni che vengono richieste in fase di registrazione sono 3 prevalentemente. Sono 3 fattori che incideranno poi all'interno del sito, perché combinando quei 3 fattori i contenuti all'interno del sito cambieranno. Cosa vuol dire? I 3 fattori di cui parlo sono il paese di origine dell'utente, il paese di interesse e altre informazioni riguardanti gli interessi dell'utente, che possono essere di business o travel, di carattere di studio o arte and culture. Dunque, effettuata la registrazione, Fabio, facciamo vedere la registrazione, comunque questa è la starting page. La starting page, in questa pagina possiamo vedere che è divisa in box, in diversi box. Ogni box contiene diverse informazioni. Possono essere delle news, come in questo caso, i primi news c'è scritto, oppure in alto vediamo un altro box con una mappa. All'interno della mappa vengono raffigurati, sono posizionati i punti che sono stati sviluppati appunto con il team di ricerca dell'Orso Patini e Palmonari. L'idea di questa pagina è un po' l'idea di avere una dashboard per l'utente dove in una rapida occhiata riesce a vedere tutti quelli che sono i contenuti all'interno del sito. Quindi appunto, ripeto, news, punti di interesse. Se andiamo ancora sotto ci sono altre informazioni molto importanti che abbiamo voluto evidenziare, come ad esempio le persone che si trovano attorno all'utente, questo box, people around. In questo box vengono appunto visualizzate le persone che l'utente può, che vede attorno a sé e facilmente può, cliccando sull'icona, recuperare informazioni su quell'utente ed eventualmente scambiare messaggi con quella persona, con una sorta di scambio di mail con i vari utenti. Quindi abbiamo creato anche una sorta di social network per le nostre comunità di utenti. A fianco a questo box vediamo che sono presenti dei topics in forma di hashtag che siamo soliti vedere, con delle news correlate a quei topic e a quegli hashtag. Vorrei puntare adesso un attimo l'attenzione su quel bottone là in alto, in angolo, che vede raffigurate in questo momento 2 bandiere, che sono le bandiere che io ho scelto all'inizio in fase di registrazione. Quindi la mia paese di origine è l'Italia, la flag a sinistra, la bandiera a sinistra più grande, e il paese di interesse che ho scelto è la bandiera piccola, quella indiana. Cosa vuol dire questo? Che tutte quindi le informazioni all'interno di questa pagina riguardano quei due paesi. Se clicco su quel bottone ho la possibilità di cambiare il paese di interesse. In questo caso posso scegliere fra i paesi attualmente disponibili, che sono India, Cina, Russia e Canada, e posso anche cambiare la lingua. Quindi, proviamo a fare un esempio, Fabio. Ok, ad esempio scelgo Cina. Automaticamente il sistema ricalcola e rigenera i contenuti andandomi a fornire una nuova dashboard con nuove informazioni. E anche all'interno del sito tutte le sezioni vengono ricalcolate con i miei nuovi interessi. Esattamente. Torniamo un attimo su India, perché vorrei passare alla seconda sezione. Quindi questa è la prima, la dashboard, la starting page. La seconda sezione che vorrei farvi vedere è Around Page. La Around Page, che è già stata accennata da Matteo, in questa pagina, aprendo questa sezione si vedrà una mappa full screen dove sono stati posizionati tutti i punti. I punti, oltre ad essere stati posizionati, sono anche raggruppati per categorie. In alto a sinistra c'è una barra che mostra le diverse categorie e sono anche raggruppati, clusterizzati appunto per queste categorie. Possiamo decidere se visualizzare o meno quei punti. Quello che possiamo fare qui è più o meno quello che ci si aspetta di fare visualizzando una qualsiasi mappa su un qualsiasi sito, che può essere Foursquare o qualsiasi altro. Quindi possiamo fare un drag and drop della mappa, possiamo fare uno zoom in, uno zoom out, possiamo anche ricercare altri punti. Quindi c'è la funzionalità search, ad esempio proprio se andiamo a Nuova Delhi vedremo i punti che sono là. Se andiamo ad esempio a Pune, stessa cosa, quindi possiamo veramente girare tutto il mondo e andare a ricercare i punti. Volevo far vedere quel punto lì, Fabio, il primo, sopra in alto, ci sono diversi punti che possiamo scegliere. Volevo far vedere questo perché è abbastanza interessante, fa vedere appunto che abbiamo, tra i nostri punti ci sono anche il moto Vespa italiano in India, e cliccando sull'icona abbiamo delle rapide informazioni sul punto, quindi dove si trova, che tipo di punto è, la sua categoria, il sito web, il numero di telefono eventualmente per chiamare o prenotare. C'è un altro punto lì in basso molto curioso che si chiama Sicilia ed è un ristorante, in questo caso potremmo eventualmente chiamare addirittura per fare un'ordinazione. Cliccando sull'icona del punto, quindi su questa pop-up che si apre, possiamo andare alla pagina profilo del punto, dove vengono spiegate più in dettaglio tutte le informazioni di questo punto, quindi vi è anche una descrizione delle immagini qualora presenti, fornite dal punto, dal ristorante, la mappa ancora una volta, ed è possibile inoltre avere altre informazioni. Innanzitutto è possibile commentare il punto, quindi ancora rientra nella sfera di social network che abbiamo creato nel nostro sistema, quindi è possibile anche scambiarsi oltre che messaggi anche dei commenti sui punti all'interno della piattaforma. E inoltre abbiamo un sistema di suggerimenti punti che sono nelle vicinanze, quindi dato questo punto di interesse questi altri punti sono consigliati in quanto vicini a quel punto dato. Sì, possiamo passare alla seconda categoria, che è la news. Queste news abbiamo già ricordato più volte durante questo incontro che è stata sviluppata in collaborazione con il professor Stella l'anno scorso, e devo dire che il motore che è stato costruito ai tempi è lo stesso che gira ancora ad oggi, è molto solido. Questa volta abbiamo implementato la possibilità di cambiare le informazioni delle news, andando a cambiare ancora una volta i paesi di origine e di interesse, quindi questa è la pagina con tutte le news categorizzate e classificate, raggruppate in caso di news simili. Più in basso abbiamo, esatto, queste qua sono visualizzate le news correlate che parlano dello stesso argomento. Più in basso abbiamo una lista di trend topics che si possono trovare della settimana, trend topic della settimana in Italia, e poi una lista di box con tutte le diverse categorie che è possibile trovare all'interno del sito. Possiamo provare a cambiare i paesi di interesse e vedere come cambiano poi le news all'interno.
Anche lingua?
Sì, possiamo cambiare anche lingua, possiamo mettere anche Brasile e portoghese. Ci sono molte altre funzionalità all'interno del sito, come l'edit profile, il profilo, la possibilità di vedere gli utenti, i ristoranti, tutti i punti di interesse in dettaglio. Lascio un po' a voi la possibilità di giocare con il sito. Noi ovviamente ci aspettiamo di ricevere i vostri feedback, molto importanti. Io vi ringrazio. Grazie mille.
Ok, la regia mi dice che si può mangiare. Director says we go to it. Ok. Sì, no,
We welcome
okay.
everybody to the next room. There is a aperitivo where we can talk, discuss, and
Yeah.
have good wine food.
Okay. Well, I think the best way is to use the networking also for questions. So everyone can go in deep with the things they consider more interesting.